Wow, I'm really jazzed. My name's Dan Brozier. I'm one of the co-founders of the company. Thank you for coming to our open house. It's been a long process. I've seen a lot of familiar faces. Thank you for showing up. So before we introduce the mayor and the St. Paul Chamber of Commerce, I wanted to just give you a quick little history of 3D. Dave and I started the company in 2003 after we had gotten fired from a little startup in the 2000 implosion. So we decided, what the hell, let's just go start our own little company. So we started in Dave's basement. We went from 2 people to 4 people, so then we moved in with my brother at his Window World offices. And has anybody ever had to share a room with a sibling? This is not that exciting. So eventually, when we got to about 18 people, he said, you got to find bigger space. So he kicked us out of that space when we were sharing in the retail space over in North St. Paul. And we were thinking of moving to the Roseville corridor around 35W and 35 and 36. And we were close to coming to a conclusions on a deal for doing some leasing, and we talked to the city of St. Paul, and they go, hey, you got to come down and take a look at what we have going on. So we did. It was going to be a little more expensive to actually move downtown St. Paul with the lease rates, but the mayor of the St. Paul Chamber, they introduced us, and I don't know if Ellen's here tonight, but her and Martin, they were able to secure some funding to actually help with our move downtown. So we said, hey, let's move downtown. 99% of the people have never been downtown St. Paul relative to living here and working here. So we're all newbies to this. We're not people that grew up in St. Paul. So that's 2010, move in. We have 22 people. Here we are 5.5 years later. We went from 22 people to 48 people. We've shared a lot of the restaurants, bars. Some people have actually rented apartments downtown, so we've been a vibrant part of the community. In fact, Forbes said that the average person spends $936 a year in the geography that they're living. So I worked that out. It's about $275,000 over the last 5 years. You're welcome, Mayor. And I'm pretty positive that does not include the beer tab. So it might even be more than that. So actually last year in January, we said, hey, we got to find more space. We're going to lease more space, or maybe we actually look to acquire a building. And the number one thing that the employees said is, we do not want to move from downtown St. Paul. So they had become entrenched in the community. They wanted to stay here. And so it really kind of limited the geography by which we were able to look, because people wanted to stay downtown. They were used to the community. So thanks to Julie, she's right here. She helped us find some commercial buildings that were available. And when we walked into this building, we couldn't believe it had been vacant, and it had been not occupied fully for the last 10 years. And we were like, wow, this is incredible. This is going to be 3D's new home. There were 5 businesses here that have been here off and on, so we busted out a bunch of walls. We spent 3.5 months and nearly $2 million for buying the building and renovation, which is a big investment for a small company. But I think you can see by what we've done here that this has been a great investment for 3D. And for the continued renovation of Lowertown. So I just wanted to thank you guys. I want to thank the city for supporting us in 2010. That's why we're returning the investment in you, and it's been a great run. So with that, I'd like to introduce the Honorable Mayor of St. Paul, Chris Coleman. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I'm usually more comfortable in front of the bar than behind it, but this is great. I want to congratulate you, first of all, just on the success of the company, the growth that you've seen, and the success is just really wonderful. So even if you were out in Roseville, I'd still be celebrating your success. But the fact of the matter is, I am really thrilled that you chose to expand here in downtown St. Paul, that you came down here 5 or 6 years ago. It is too bad that Ellen's not here. If in fact she's not, she could be getting a beer, I don't know. But you know, she was very aggressive in just making sure that people understood what we had down here and what it was. But it's easy to say, you know, today, a company coming into downtown St. Paul seems like a no-brainer because of all the things that are here. But you guys chose to come down to downtown St. Paul before there was CHS Field, before Light Rail was open, before there was a new restaurant opening every week. And if it wasn't for the fact that you were willing to take that, you know, a big leap, it's a huge leap. And we've seen this from other companies that would say, well, you know, we're out, we have free parking in the suburbs and it's great and our employees like it, but then they come down here and they see that all the amenities that are here, the vibrancy that's been created, with the music in Mears Park and all of the wonderful things that are happening down here, and they want to be here and they want to continue to grow. But if it wasn't for Pioneers, if it wasn't for 3D just making that decision and a few other companies that were critical to that proved the market, that proved, it's kind of like I always say, one of the key pieces to this was when Bulldog first came into downtown St. Paul. And they proved, if you serve it, they will drink it in downtown St. Paul. But it took somebody to make that first leap. And so I want to congratulate you. I want to thank you for taking that leap. What a wonderful next step forward, and beautiful space. I just absolutely love it. It just feels warm and welcoming, and I wish you all the best success and continued growth as you enjoy all of the things that downtown St. Paul has to offer. Congratulations.
So I'll just say a few words here. I actually learned a long time ago never to follow Dan DeRozier, and then certainly don't follow the mayor. So we'll keep this fairly short, but I'm Dave Woodbeck, also a co-founder of the company, and it was indeed my basement where we started to come up with some of these ideas and figure out what we're going to do, and then we started to roll through, as we started to grow. So I actually have a lot of deep roots in St. Paul myself, and so I was really attracted to come down to St. Paul when we moved over here to 180 East 5th. I was born in St. Paul. My parents and grandparents lived in St. Paul, went to Johnson High School, ditched school to come down and watch the high school hockey tournament. So I have a lot of love for St. Paul, and I'm really thrilled that we're now down here permanently. And as Dan mentioned, that was a big investment on our part to both come down here in the first place, and then secondarily to now invest for the long term. And we're really, really thrilled with how this all turned out. This is an amazing building. I do want to take one quick moment to just thank Dan DeRozier for his leadership in making this thing happen. There was a lot of people involved. I frankly wasn't one of them. If you built a house or if you built anything in your life, you know it takes a tremendous amount of energy, and Dan doesn't take thanks very often, but thank you for all you did there. Something real quick about our business. When we started off our business, we wanted to create something that had value. We didn't really know how to say it at the time, but we didn't think of our business as becoming 50 people or becoming a multi-million-dollar company or working with great clients like Red Wing or Marvin and the other great folks that we've worked with. What we really wanted to do is just build something that had value to it. And our passion was really around improving the business performance of companies through the tools of digital marketing. But it takes more than just that kind of passion to want to go do that. If you really want to be successful, it takes great people. And we've invested and grown and worked with some really, really great people in our business. And again, without them, none of this happens. We don't move to 180 East 5th. We don't move down here. A phenomenal group of people that have been with us for some up to 12 years. This is about a 13, 14-year-old company. Some have been with us up to 12 years. So it's been fantastic to grow with you guys, to meet and work with great clients. And so we're just really thrilled to have you all here now in a culmination of moving down here to this great space that was the vision that Dan DeRozier had and a lot of people who contributed to make that happen. So great testament to where we were to where we are now. So with that, I would also like to introduce Matt Kramer from the Chamber and his ambassadors who are actually going to help us cut the ribbon. Is that right?
Dave, thank you. The Chamber is a business advocacy organization, and you think of chambers, and in a lot of small towns, it's civic boosterism. In a big town, it's about celebrating risk. It's about celebrating people who laid off, fired, whatever the case may be, 14 years ago, took an enormous risk, and hired other people who took a risk, and moved downtown when I think a lot of people would have said, no matter what the love of St. Paul is this the right decision? It's the right decision. St. Paul is on fire, baby, and we're so happy you're here. Somewhere, Laura, we got a ribbon, we got giant scissors. You can run with it, and let's get this puppy going. All right. Definitely want to get the sign. wait here. I'm going to step to the side. That's gonna cut it short. What do you think? Count us down?
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah!